They always say the third time's a charm. Welcome, boys and girls. My name is Brandon, and this, I kid you not, is the third time I'm trying to record the podcast in my car on my way home from work today. The first time I didn't have my microphone plugged in, so it was just garbly and distant. And the second time, I got right past the intro, and my wife called to tell me about a Christmas song that she didn't know about, some information behind the Christmas song. So, my name is Brandon. I might have already said that, but if not, welcome to my podcast. It's called the ConsumeCast. It's about stuff I consume, and I don't do it all the time, but let's jump into some housekeeping, and then we will dive right into the topic of today, which is the DC Cinematic Universe discussion, what's going on in my opinions. So first, go to patreon.com/alteredwalters. I know I say it all the time, but going over there, checking it out, throwing me even $1, it means the world to me. It shows me that you guys listen, you're engaged, you care, and I actually have people that want to see me successful and continue making what I make. So go check that out and follow me on Twitter. Secondly, sidetracked because I'm passing stuff because I'm driving home, like I said. Looked like a fire, but it wasn't. It was just some lights hitting the fog the right way. It was really cool. Second off, we're going to dive into this little fun bit. I heard that my podcasts are a little more fun to listen to because I don't have a video presence yet, and that I'm a little awkward on camera, which I knew, but somebody, Mom, threw me under the bus and was saying that she prefers the podcast over the video, which is fine. Teach their own. It's okay to be wrong, Mom. Mom, lame. Only one watching this stuff anyway. There's a few of you out there, and I appreciate you, checking out the stuff I do, because I enjoy doing it. Third off, Jimmy Champagne. Man, if you're listening to this, I appreciate it because it means you clicked on the link I tweeted at you. You know I follow you. I love all your stuff you do. I want to make my audio-only video podcast that I do because I haven't figured out how to put it on iTunes. I want to put it on iTunes. Tell me how I do this. You're awesome. I love all the stuff you do. If you guys don't know who Jimmy is, he does the Jimmy and Eden podcast as well as makes videos on the Jimmy Champagne channel. Jimmy Champagne on Twitter and YouTube. No G, just Champagne the way it sounds without a G. Not like the alcohol, but sort of like the alcohol. Jimmy, you're awesome, dude. If you could just throw me a tip or steer me in the right direction on how I do that, I would appreciate it so much. We follow each other on Twitter. Shoot me a DM. That would be awesome. Not to single you out, but I figure, I'll tweet this at you and whatever. Also, I wanted to shout you out the video because I love everything you do. Jimmy does horror videos for horror games. He does gameplay videos. It's awesome. And the Jimmy and Eden podcast is amazing, and you guys can check that out on iTunes under Jimmy and Eden podcast. Jimmy, you guys need to do more episodes because I've watched, or listened to, I guess, pretty much every single one you've put out while I'm at work. And I need more because it's been a couple weeks since you posted, and I'm dying for one, man. So get on it. So that's everything for, housekeeping. I just want to get these on iTunes and make them longer and have topics to discuss and not just ramble about dumb opinions that I have, which is what I'll do anyway. But, I'd like to format it better and have it on iTunes so you guys can download it as a podcast and listen on your way to work or at your job or while you're taking a poop. Each their own. I don't care if you set your phone up and listen to me while you take a poop. That's awesome. Go for it. So, the DC Cinematic Universe is what I wanted to touch on today. As you may or may not know, Batman vs. Superman is a movie that is coming out, and people are real excited. It has Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill, I don't know how to say his name, as Superman. Wonder Woman's in it. I don't know that actress's name, and I apologize because she's a beautiful woman, and I should know her name. It also has Doomsday, and I think Jared Leto is the Joker, but who knows. What I really wanted to talk about is this movie sets up the Justice League, and the Justice League movie is set to come out, afterwards. Not very soon, but it's coming out. It's planned and all that fun, awesome stuff. From what I know, and from what the internet talks about, Grant Gustin, who plays Barry Allen as the Flash on the CW TV show, and Stephen Amell, who plays Green Arrow on the Arrow TV show on the CW, are not playing their movie counterparts. This is infuriating for me. I think it is ridiculous, and as I've said in the 2 other podcasts that I had to delete because they weren't done right, this isn't okay with me. And I'm just going to run down some reasons why, in my opinion. So, Ezra Miller is going to be the Flash in the Justice League movie at this time. He was the guy in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. He has the longer hair and sometimes a scruff beard, but not always. He seems like a nice kid. He's a pretty good actor. I just don't think he's going to play a good Barry Allen. And I know that you're thinking, well, Grant Gustin doesn't look like Barry Allen either. He doesn't have blonde hair. I get that. Whatever. I have an affinity for Grant Gustin, and I'm okay with admitting that. He's a beautiful man, and he does an amazing job of being the Flash. He earned that role, in my opinion. So I'm not excited about Ezra Miller as the Flash in the Justice League movie one bit at all. However, it has been rumored that Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy is going to play the Green Arrow in the Justice League movie. And if you have thought about it like I have, he looks a lot like the Green Arrow from the comics, with if he has a blonde goatee like he does in some of his roles, the blonde kind of shaggy hair. Pair that with the green suit, it looks just like the comics. He's going to pull that off amazing if he plays that character. But, like I've said before, I think that Steven and Grant have earned these roles in the DC universe. If you did not want them to play them in the TV show, then they wouldn't have been cast in it. Obviously, they do a good job and they've earned these roles. Acting is not an easy job by any means. People like to think it is, but it's a 12 to 16 hour day of repeating things and memorizing things and doing your very best to portray a role. Steven and Grant have done that for these DC characters. I could not ask for a better Flash. Grant Gustin is my Flash. He's my favorite version of the Flash. And anytime I think about the Flash as a character, I think of Grant Gustin and his portrayal. The same thing with Stephen Amell. He does an amazing job of the Arrow. The show's great, and we've had hours and hours and hours to develop these characters and our feelings for these characters. We've had, I believe, to be 33 hours at the time of this video, me recording it on my way home, for Grant Gustin to delve into the role of Barry Allen in this Flash universe. And we've had 4+ seasons. I think we're in the 4th season right now of The Arrow, for Steven to really digest that character and do his representation of the Green Arrow and Oliver Queen. They both do an incredible job, and they've earned these roles in the DC universe. So why replace them in the movies, is my question. Think about that for a second. I'll pause. Awesome. You thought about it. Why are we doing it? It doesn't make any sense. They do a great job with the roles already. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, arguably even millions of people, watch these shows and enjoy them thoroughly. So why take these actors and replace them in the movie? Well, I don't know. But I do know that there is a lot of crossover between these TV shows and people that are going to go see the Batman vs. Superman and the Justice League movie, regardless of who's playing in them. But I do feel like if you were to use these characters that already are established in the DC universe and on the TV shows, they have fans, they have a following, they have people that love them as these characters. And if you were to incorporate them into the movie and let them shine as the characters they already do, you're going to get more people. You're going to get a deeper care for the story. You know, it's going to be a richer story and people are going to care about it. And I do kind of have a theory as to why they're not doing it, and I'm not really okay with it, and I don't agree. But I do think that possibly that the writers are afraid that if we let Grant Gustin and Steven play their characters from the TV series in the movies, people are going to be very focused on them, and not the other characters won't develop as well. Like Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and Cyborg, I believe, is in this, and you know, the other characters are not going to have as rich of a story, and people aren't going to have the emotional connections to them like they do Grant or Steven. Because, like I said, we've had hours upon hours to you know, fall in love with these characters. I do think that is a very real concern. However, I don't agree with that, because you want someone to come into this movie with a deep emotional connection with it already. If you can establish that before your movie's even out, I mean, that's a ticket seller right there. If you were to tell me today we lied, Grant Gustin is the Flash, I will pre-buy 2 tickets. I promise you. You tweet at me, send me an article that is confirmed, and I will send you my Fandango confirmation email. Because Grant Gustin is an amazing Flash. Steven is an amazing Green Arrow. These characters are loved. Why are you doing this? That's my opinion. You know, take it with a grain of salt if you don't agree. But I think I'm valid. I think that is a valid concern, and I think it's something that should be discussed and, you know, figured out why are they pursuing this? What's going on that we don't want to have these TV shows cross over with the movies? I don't know. That was my biggest DC argument and discussion right there. Is just I don't understand what is going on. I do know that Stephen Amell has actually come forward and said he's not happy at all that they're replacing him in the movies. You know, he's continuing to do the TV show, and as far as I know, he enjoys the TV show. But he did mention the fact that he's not happy that they are using another person to play the Green Arrow in the DC Cinematic Universe movies. You know, the expanded universe, and that's totally valid. You know, these people are putting in the work to become these characters, and they're going to get greeted on the street by kids and fans as Barry or as Oliver. They're not going to get greeted as their real names. And that's one of the problems with being an actor, obviously, is you fall into the role of a character. That happens all the time. Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. You know, I can't think of, you know, a couple more right off the top of my head just because I'm so distracted with the DC stuff and my feelings towards that. But, you know, people get typecasted. And once you've played someone that people care so deeply about, you're going to be that character to them. Ezra Miller is not going to be the Flash to a lot of people. So why give him that opportunity? Yes, he's a good actor. Yes, people like him. And yes, maybe you don't want people to already go in with all these ideas and an already built universe with this Flash to go into this series. But the multiverse it exists in the DC comics, and it's something you can just frost over, you know? Just let us have these characters. That's my opinion. Tell me what you think in the comments, or if this is on iTunes somehow, and dear God, we figured that out, tweet at me, at Altered Walters on Twitter. It's spelled like it sounds, ALTEREDWALTERS, Altered Walters. It's because I have tattoos, and I used to have my ears stretched. That's where the name comes from. I have ruined my body, as some older people would say. Tweet at me. Tell me what you think. I think it's actually a real concern. My wife and I have this discussion in the car when we drive places. I always find a way to bring up ridiculous things like this, and this was the discussion of this morning, and I've been thinking about it all day long, and I finally just thought, you know, I've got to make a short podcast about this and get some other people's opinions. Next, let us jump into the Batman vs. Superman trailer, the most recent one, with the kind of reveal of Doomsday. So, the trailer looks incredible. The woman that plays Wonder Woman is beautiful, like I've said before. She makes her entrance, and Batman and Superman kind of have a back and forth joke about, you know, oh, is she yours? Does she work with you? And, you know, vice versa, and that's funny. You know, there's cool bits in this trailer that are funny. It's relief. But the trailer feels like it showed almost the entire movie. It's like a 3-minute version of a 2.5-hour film. That's a concern right there. That is a big concern. I feel like I watched that and it was a beautifully made fan film, and that's it. Like, that's all I need. You know what I mean? I feel like I got my story in just that trailer. And I honestly am content with that. I still want to see the movie, but just, I don't know. It felt like that in itself was enough to satisfy me. And maybe that was the plan. Maybe that was enough to satisfy the fans until the movie gets closer. And if it is, beautiful marketing, beautiful idea. But I think maybe somebody should tweet that out and let us all have that idea so we don't think you spoiled the movie. Also, the movie is called Batman vs. Superman. And I know that some of you guys are like, well, Superman would never lose because of the Rock, you know, kryptonite. It only comes from the planet Krypton, and he's immortal, and blah, 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 whatever. I don't care. Batman vs. Superman is the title of the movie. I would assume that's the plot of the movie. Batman fights Superman. Superman fights Batman versus Batman versus Superman. Makes sense, wouldn't you think? Back to the Future. What do? They go back to the future. The Lord of the Rings, there's a ring. Seems cut and dry to me. No. This trailer gives you the idea that not only is Doomsday going to be in this movie, and it looks like a big part of this movie, but it also kind of alludes to a Bizarro Superman. That is a big theory on the internet, and that could be completely off base of me, and it could not be Bizarro Superman. It could just be, weird facial expressions in the trailer that makes you think Bizarro. What have you. But I do really believe that there's a fundamental flaw in this trailer and what's going on, because is this Batman versus Superman, or is this Batman and Superman? And I think that's the question we need to be asking. Is this a versus movie, or is this a team-up movie? And I know they're going to team up regardless. That's how the Justice League forms. That is how this movie will end. This movie will end with probably a handshake, or one of those weird bro hugs where you go in for a handshake and then they pull you in and pat you on the shoulder. Even though you don't know the guy, you just had algebra with him one time in 10th grade, Greg. God damn, dude. Anyway, they're going to be friends. They have to be. That's just how the universe works. But do not call this movie Batman versus Superman if Batman and Superman do not punch each other in the face. I'm afraid that we're going to go into this movie, we're going to get 10 or 15 minutes of them fighting, and then something's going to happen, and oh my god, Doomsday, we've got to team up now to fight Doomsday. Oh, but good thing we've got Wonder Woman to help us out, and oh my god, look, it's Aquaman and the Flash, and no, okay? No. This movie is supposed to be about these two characters fighting. Those are the honest vibes I got from the trailer. It's beautiful. It looks incredible, like I said. However, some of the CGI is a little janky, and I feel like things got spoiled, and all it did was unravel more questions for me. The teaser, where Superman rips off Batman's mask, or cowl, I guess is what it's actually called, and we see Batfleck's face. That's an incredible teaser. You could have just given me that little taste, and I would have been jonesing for this movie, man. The first hit's free. You upload that teaser on YouTube, and we're all itching for more. And make us wait. Make us itch and want, and, make us desire for more. Don't give us that, though, when we ask for it. You got to intervention us, man. You just give us a taste, and then wean us off until the movie comes out. Giving me this big trailer, I OD'd, I can't handle this much Superman and Batman at once. I can't handle all this DC goodness. You gave me so much that now I'm biting the hand that feeds me. I'm talking about how there's problems and how I don't like it, and that's not what you want at all. And I would say the universal consent on the internet right now, which, welcome to the internet, everything's bad, but it just seems like there's more problems that this trailer presented than good. We have nothing but questions. We have nothing but concerns. The teaser would have been perfect. You should have left it at the teaser. And if by some ungodly means somebody that works at DC is hearing this, I am still a big fan. You can fly me out for a movie, or to talk, or for you guys to just kind of beat up on and be the office. I'll run and get coffee for you guys. Whatever. I'm not bashing on it at all. I just think that if it were my, production studio, and I would be making these decisions, I would have given a teaser. You've got to keep people excited for this film. That's part of the industry. But you give out a teaser, you wait a couple weeks, you put out a JPEG. You wait a couple weeks, oh, here's a GIF. A couple more weeks, maybe another teaser, or the same teaser but from a different angle. Stuff like that. You do not give a huge trailer like this. That's just too much. And before I continue to ramble on and on about the DC Universe for the next hour and a half, I will cut you guys loose and just keep in mind what I said. Start a discussion in the comments. I read every single comment that's posted. I reply to the ones that ask for a reply or deserve a reply. I see every like, I see every view. All of that stuff means the world to me. I'm a very busy guy with college and my full-time job, but I still love to do this, and it's important to me. So I notice absolutely everything you guys do. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave comments. If this is on iTunes, somebody did an awesome job helping me out, and shout out to them. And I'm sure you guys will know because I'll blow Twitter up with my excitement if this gets on iTunes. And tweet at me, all that fun stuff. Until next time, guys, I apologize this is a short podcast, but once I get this formula figured out and what I'm doing and get better at this, they will become longer, and I'll get some guests on, and I'll have better topics and all that awesome stuff I know you guys want. Until next time, I will see you later. Go check out my YouTube channel, which you're probably already on, but go check out my actual videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I sprinkle in some podcasts here and there and some other fun stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Stay rad.